You know, I want to switch gears. And April, I want to play a clip, what the president had to say about you, which was awful, and what the president also had to say about our own White House correspondent, Abby Phillip, which was also terrible. Listen to this.
Same thing with April Ryan. I watch her get up. I mean, you talk about somebody that's a loser. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She gets publicity, and then she gets a pay raise, or she gets a contract with, I think, CNN. But she's very nasty, and she shouldn't be.
Do you want him to rein in Robert Mueller?
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
Yeah, that was his exchange with Abby Phillip, and she does not ask a lot of stupid questions, and she's certainly not stupid. She's an honest, excellent journalist who works for us,
yes, she
covering the White House. You know, let's talk a little bit about, first of all, April, what the president said about you and what he said about Abby.
Wolf, I don't, you know, I guess at this point I'm numb to it. It's been 2 years of the same thing, but now it's open. It's openly said by the President of the United States. You know, there's been efforts to silence me in the briefing room. There have been efforts to discredit me. But you know, who I've been and who I am is who you know. I'm an open book. Anyone who knows me. And what you see is what you get from me. But the President called me a loser. I'm not. And I'm someone like many, to include Abby Phillip. We follow the U.S. Constitution. We have the utmost respect and reverence for the highest office in the land. It's sacred. The President is right. There is sanctity there. And one of the reasons is because life and death is in the tongue and in the pen there. This is a serious space and place. And we take our job seriously. And we have been. I mean, Abby's been there for many years, and I have been too. And I've covered the White House with you and many others who understand the seriousness of this place and the office holder. There is reverence for that office as well. And to be called a loser by the President of the United States, I think back about the First Amendment of the Constitution, freedom of the press. He is challenging the Constitution when he says that. And that's his personal opinion, that's fine. But I also think about me being a loser today, but last year in January, was I a loser when he asked me to get together the Congressional Black Caucus with him for a meeting? He thought I had enough gravitas then and enough seriousness for me to do that. So was I a loser today and yesterday, or just a loser today? Because I tried to ask a question about a serious issue, voter suppression, and he responded to me. And that is the only reason why I stood. But if I'm a loser, so be it.
Wolf, can I just, April is obviously very, very good at defending herself, but she shouldn't have to be the only one to do so. She mentioned that she covered the White House with you. I covered the White House with April.
Yes, you did.
And she asked the questions, just as our colleague Abby Phillip does. And let's just cut to the chase. What the President does, and I've been on the receiving end of it too, I've been called rude, you know, a year and a half ago, the last time we talked, just because I asked a regular question. What the President does is he goes after the person who's asking a question which doesn't like the content of it, even though, and especially when it's a legitimate question. And that goes for April, and that certainly went for Abby today, who asked the question of the day in a very straightforward, very matter-of-fact way about whether or not his expectation was that Matthew Whitaker would, you know, do something to quash the Mueller probe. That's it.
Wait a second. How about, what do all these people have in common?
Well, that was
April, Abby Phillip.
That was going to be my next point, but take it away, Jeff.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Yamiche, there was another, Yamiche Alcindor, who was also demeaned by the President yesterday.
She works for
PBS.
PBS.
All black women. How about Don Lemon? How about LeBron James? How about the NFL football players? Constant attacks on black people and Jim Acosta.
Colin Kaepernick.
I mean, come on, Colin Kaepernick. I mean, let's be honest here. There
Michelle
is
Obama,
also a
Stacey
huge
Abrams.
racial dimension to this. The fact that the President is always
Andrew
attacking
Gillum.
black people. April, take it away. I mean, but I mean, the idea that this was some random selection of journalists he doesn't like is not the case. It's always black people with this President.
You know, he just defining the presidency downward every single day in every single way. I mean, what we're all talking about is one thing, but I would argue that every time he calls a reporter stupid, no matter who it is, or that's a dumb question or whatever, he's acting like a 3-year-old who doesn't want to answer because he doesn't have the answer. And so what he does is he punches. And yes, I think he punches black women an awful lot. And I think he punches anybody who challenges him. And if you're president of the United States and you don't know that you are going to be getting tough questions, then you shouldn't be there, because you should have answers to questions, because you should have thought out problems before you speak. And I think what he's finding in his new role as his own spokesman is that he's getting questions that he doesn't like, and so he just throws pellets at people. And I think watching it from afar, you think, is this what the President of the United States should be doing? Is this how he should be behaving? Should he be calling serious journalists stupid and saying, I watch you and I don't like you, and who cares? Answer the question. Answer the question.
And let's not forget, he calls Congresswoman Maxine Waters low IQ Maxine Waters. So there is a pattern.